we're in it today. We're late with everything. So we're in for a long morning, but it's a great time to do it because it's Govardhan Puja. We should really celebrate today. We're having our main festival tomorrow, but today is the celebration. Today is the auspicious time. So we should really hear about and talk about it today. So we are doing this. It's Govardhan Puja. I totally wanted to be done a bit earlier, but we'll just carry on. The more bhakti we do, the better. You guys can see the beautiful replica of Sri Govardhan Hill there. Meghna, watch Krishna. You're shaking him up top there. So, like that. So, very good. Yes, the rain is maybe starting to come. But today is actually the day of the puja. So, what we are going to do is we're going to continue reading our Srimad Bhagavatam, but we're going to branch off, because it's actually connected. Where we are in the Bhagavatam is actually connected to this Govardhan Puja. So, yes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, because we have a ton of rice too, you know. So.
We can do something.
Okay, so no problem.
You want us to sit? We'll sit for.
You can sit for some time. Here's some Harikatha, and then at some point I'll say okay, begin. And also we have we're gonna go out today with a lot of the guys, and we're gonna move stuff. So some people will eat lunch there too. So we have two vans, so we'll figure it out. Anyway, you just don't worry about these things. Anyway, I think it's a great plan actually. So we'll see. Anyway, today we have Srimad Bhagavatam. Before we begin, let's glorify the Gurus and glorify the Bhagavatam itself, from which the pastimes of Govardhan Puja are coming from. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksharum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svabhagantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurami Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shabana Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. All together 3 times. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Rayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraya. Who's got that verse memorized? Loudly speak.
The 4 reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer their respectful obeisances unto the supremest Narayana, the supremest human being, unto
Narayana Rishi,
and Rishi, unto the
supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati,
unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, unto Srila Vyasadeva, unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author.
Jai, you got it. Very
That
good.
is something.
No, you got it. We helped you. You got it all together. Okay, very good. Next verse. Shrinvatam svakata Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridyantastoya bhadrani vidunokti saritsatam. Shri Krishna, who is the Paramatma, the super soul in the heart of each living entity, and the benefactor, the truthful devotee, cleanses the heart of material desires of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. And then finally, Nashta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati yutamashtuki bhakti bhavati naishtuki.
By regular attendance in the classes on the Bhagavatam and the service to the devotees, that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, whose praise with transcendental song is established as an irrevocable act.
Jai. So this is the glories of hearing Hari Katha. It'll cleanse you of material desires. And then on top of that, all your troubles are coming from those material desires. It will allow you to remove all of your troubles in your life. And what comes up instead is love, the sprout of bhakti, which is going to lead to prem for the Supreme Personality of God. And it'll be established as an irrevocable fact, meaning once it's there, it'll never be taken from you. And never be taken from you. So, but there's a process. And there is a way that we can lose our very delicate creeper. And actually, it's very much related to today's pastime of Govardhan Puja. The whole Govardhan pastime. The actual puja itself is very sweet because this is the Vrajabasis coming together and worshipping the sacred land or mountain of Govardhan, from which so many pastimes of Sri Radha Krishna and the Vrajabasis and the Gopas and the Gopis. There's so many wonderful pastimes on this Sri Govardhan hill, which is represented by that beautiful rice that Michael and Parth made this morning. And then we also have the literal piece of Govardhan hill here on that little throne on the altar. That's a Govardhan Shila brought here by Jai Krishna Prabhu. So we're very fortunate actually that Govardhan has literally come to us on Govardhan Puja. It's the second time this has happened this year. Little Bal Gopal came to us on Janmashtami Day. And now Govardhan Puja, on Govardhan Puja, Govardhan Shila has also come. So this is very, very nice. So anyway, we are at probably the most important verse of the Bhagavatam. Naturally, this is where we read all the way from the verse 1 to this very important verse. It's so important that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he explained this verse 61 different ways in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And before that, he explained it many different ways to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And this was the verse that completely enlightened Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, turned him from the top Mayavad scholar of Puri to becoming a great Vaishnava scholar and a devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Completely transformed him, converted him, so to say. But the way that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains it is so incredible that naturally only the Supreme Lord could describe like this. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya actually was completely convinced, and change of heart was there. Also, I'll just want to give a shout out. It is the great disciple of Sri Shyamananda Prabhu, who was one of the first preachers of Krishna consciousness. His chief disciple, who was the son of a great king, his name is Rasika Nanda. It's his appearance day today. So we should really offer our millions of obeisances and pranams unto him, because he is a shining example of Vaishnavas, and the things he did were nothing short of miraculous. I mean, maybe two examples of something that Rasikananda, his prowess as a devotee was so great that he was able to literally tame large wild animals like tigers, and he even had a pet elephant that was a wild elephant that was like a mad elephant that would rampage. But through the strength of his devotion, he not only tamed it, but he made the elephant a devotee, and the elephant would literally chant the Maha Mantra. I kid you not. This is a factual account of Rasikananda, and he wasn't even a direct associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I mean, at least in the time period that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was on this earth. But he was very, very immersed in this bhakti lineage and tradition, and he was a great empowered Vaishnava. And all throughout South India, he spread Gaudiya Vaishnavism far and wide. So give him our pranams. We've read this verse. We went through all the synonyms. We're not going to do any new verse today. I don't even think we're going to finish the purport. We'll just do, for the sake of formality, we'll read the verse and a little bit into the purport. But this is such a comprehensive verse, and we have to talk about Govardhan Puja, so we'll do only such a small amount. But the verse is very important. Like I said, probably the most important of the Bhagavatam, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there's a whole chapter in the Chaitanya Charitamrita on just this verse. Sutu vacha Atmaramascha munayo Nirgrantha apyarukrame Kurvantya haitukim bhaktim Itam bhuta gunohari. Okay. And the translation is all different varieties of Atmaramas, or those who take pleasure in the Atma, or spirit self, especially those established on the path of self-realization, though freed from all kinds of material bondage, desire to render unalloyed devotional service unto the personality of Godhead. This means that the Lord possesses transcendental qualities and therefore can attract everyone, including the liberated souls. This is so important. Why? Why so much emphasis on this verse? The reason being is because as part of the Vedic tradition, especially the basic Purusharthas, moksha is the end goal of a lot of Varnashram Dharma. You know, Jai Krishna was talking yesterday in his class, the need to transcend Varnashram Dharma. Varnashram Dharma is worldly duties. And even so much so that even moksha, which is the freeing oneself from the entanglement of dharma, artha, and kama, which is dharma is religious duty, artha is wealth, and kama is gratification of the bodily senses. Moksha is freedom from all of those hankerings, and ultimately freedom. Yesterday Jai Krishna was sharing a verse of realizing the limitations of Varnashram Dharma. By following Varnashram Dharma perfectly, Dharma, Kama, and Artha, it's limited and it can never give real happiness, transcendental happiness. So actually, eventually, the spiritual aspirant will give them up. And that's the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. Abandon all varieties of dharma and just surrender unto me. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha yushami ma suchaha. I will deliver you from any type of sinful reactions. Because in the performance of Varnashram Dharma, because you are a conditioned living entity and bound to make mistakes, you will inevitably accrue sinful reactions, karma, and be further bound in this material world. So this is duty to the parents, duty to the demigods, duty to society. All these things, actually, while very good, like for instance, Bhagavan Sri Ram was the epitome of showing the path of Dharma. But we see in Ram's pastimes how limited Dharma is. Where Ram had to he fought like anything to get Sita back. And then he had to give it away because this was the dharmic thing to do. In the Mahabharata, we see Yudhisthira Maharaj multiple times strictly following Dharma. And he even lost his potency of his chariot levitating above the ground because he had to disobey Krishna to follow Dharma. And it shows the limitation of Dharma right there. Dharma will bind you to this world. So what makes this verse so important? Because those who have freed themselves from this, moksha, even they are attracted to devotional service. That even bhakti is transcendental, even to the point of liberation. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives multiple levels of reaching moksha. You could say jnana yoga. But ultimately, it's mentioned that of all the jnanis, the one who knows him in truth, he explains, will be through bhakti yoga. This is the highest path. This is what we're trying to share here. This is ultimately what we're trying to share. Pure, unalloyed. What's alloyed mean? Mixed. Yes. Like if you have alloy metal, it's not pure metal. You know, like alloyed silver. Like our cups, I'm a little upset that they're a little bit alloyed silver. I want to give pure silver to the Lord. But they're a little bit, just a tinge of alloy there. So similarly, our bhakti in the beginning, especially in the beginning, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he talks, I think in the Bhakti Viveka Tattva, he wrote some essays on what's called bhakti and then what's called bhakti abhas. And then actually even bhakti aparad as well. In the beginning, as Kanishta Adhikaris, we have the tendency to make many offenses to the holy name in our sevas, and then ultimately to the Vaishnavas. So why am I talking about this? This is going to lead to the great offense that Indra made. The reason this pastime came because Indra, he did all of these things. He ultimately became offensive, especially to the Vaishnavas, and this is the worst thing you could do. Your seva aparads to the Lord, if you're offensive, the Lord can forgive this. If you are offensive to the holy name, yeah, it's not good, but the Lord can forgive this and you have a path forward. But if you make offenses to the Vaishnavas, finished. No chance of advancement making offenses to the Vaishnavas. Because they are very dear to the Lord. And when you make an offense to a devotee, you must rectify it immediately. There is a way to rectify it, but if you don't even realize the need to rectify it, you're finished. Your bhakti is over. It will not progress. The Vaishnavas are most dear to the Lord. It's mentioned in the Vishnu Purana that Lord Narayan says, my devotee, one who claims to be my devotee, he is not my devotee. But one who claims to be a devotee of my devotee, he is my devotee. So this is actually our process. And this is why we are offering our obeisances to the Guru Parampara. And if we at all try and take any credit for this, this is just a lump of flesh with a mind, conditioned by the material world. And if we have any revelation of knowledge, any good qualities have manifested due to the practice of bhakti, it is not our own. It is the glory of our Guru Parampara and our Guru. And there are three types of gurus. The most prominent is the Shiksha Guru, who is giving you the most potent Shiksha. This is the one Bhagavatam recognizes the most, but very important also is the Diksha Guru and the Vartma Pradarshika Guru. But anyhow, let's read a little bit of this verse and then talk about Govardhan Puja. And I'm not going to go too much into the pastime today. I'm not going to go too deep. I'll give a synopsis because tomorrow is when everyone's going to join us, so we should save it for tomorrow. Rishi and Sahil, I'm so sorry that you'll be traveling back, but we'll give something good today, hopefully, if the Lord lets me.
What chapter, what verse?
7:10.
1:7:10. So we were talking about the different meanings of all the words. Remember, Lord Chaitanya, he explained this 61 different ways. And with all the different meanings of the word in the Sanskrit dictionary in this verse, you can explain this 61 different ways. But the essence is this. Every single person, every single living entity, it is in his best interest to take to Bhakti Yoga, and it is the most attractive thing for him. That is the essence of this verse. Every living entity, whether you're poor, whether you're rich, whether you're a self-realized soul, like a Jivan Mukta, everybody will become attracted to bhakti. They just have to be bestowed that mercy. So, again, this is a huge verse in itself, and it really needs a full class in itself. So we're not going to finish. Come on down, you guys are welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. Just move through us, no problem. So, according to the Hari Bhakti Sudodaya, the import of the word itham bhuta is complete bliss. Transcendental bliss in the realization of impersonal Brahman becomes comparable to the scanty water contained in the pit made by a cow's hoof. It is nothing compared with the ocean of bliss, of the vision of the personality of Godhead. We were talking about Bhav Bhakti yesterday. Bhav Bhakti is so high. I mean, it's so high. It's a goal. We should all reach for this goal, but it's so high, and I'll be honest, I'm so far from this type of bhakti. That by you, there's a quality of Bhav Bhakti that you become Krishna Karshini, which means Krishna is attracted to your sentiments for him, and he will literally reveal himself. Now the Bhav Bhakta would be able to see the deities. Look at all the deities we have on our altar. Look at all the forms that Krishna has come, and most of them, we had three sets of deities here. We had Sachi, when we got here, Sachi Chittanitai, Prahlad Nrsimha, and then we had Vrinda Devi. But look today, all the deities that have come. Yashoda Damodar showed up the other day. We have Giri Govardhan has come now. And all these deities have come. The Bhav Bhakta will actually be able to see that Krishna has come. Krishna has come and feel it so intensely. So much so that when they see the deity, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nitya, they'll faint. They will actually, this is a symptom of Bhav, especially in the beginning when one first cultivates Bhav, fainting will happen. It's mentioned in the Madhurya Kanami. They'll literally faint at the sight of Krishna. They'll get a sphurti, it's called. They won't see through the material eyes anymore. They're seeing purely through what's known in yoga as the Agya Chakra, the third eye. But they're seeing completely in sphurti, and it'll make them faint, actually. They'll be able to then, all of the senses of the body will then turn to the eyes to be able to see Krishna. And then they'll be able to also smell Krishna. It's like, it's something that's inconceivable to me. And this is all mentioned in the Madhurya Kadambini by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, these are Prema Bhaktas, above Bhav Bhakti, but they're explaining the symptoms of when Bhav actually arises. But this actually happens, at first, the first thing that happens is a vision of the personality of Godhead, to actually have a deep spiritual vision of the personality of Godhead. So this is a goal. And it's nothing, even being a great Jivan Mukta, resting in bliss in meditation, realizing the inner oneness, the connectedness of all things, feeling deeply connected, even merging your personality. There's no need for any type of personal endeavor anymore in your existence. This is like the scanty water contained in a cow's hoofprint. But to actually be able to experience relationship with the Supreme Lord in person is far greater, far, far greater. So this verse is really getting into how much greater that all the Jivan Muktas become attracted as well. If they somehow get blessed, somehow. We saw the example of Shukadev Goswami and the four Kumaras. Prabhupada will actually talk about it. But let's see here. The personal form of Lord Sri Krishna is so attractive that it comprehends all attraction, all bliss, and all tastes, or rasas. These attractions are so strong that no one wants to exchange them for material enjoyment, mystic powers, and liberation. So if you have some enjoyment materially, if you're very much wanting to engage the bodily senses. And even we do this in the beginning, because right, in the beginning, up until this point, up until Bhav Bhakti, we're in Sadhana Bhakti. And Sadhana Bhakti, Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains, is really Bhakti Abhas. It's a semblance of Bhakti. It's a shadow of Bhakti. But it's not actually the pure unalloyed Bhakti yet. We don't know of this actually yet. We don't know of pure unalloyed Bhakti. But it is a goal. We can reach this pure unalloyed Bhakti. How? Someone tell. Bhakti comes from what? Yes. But how's that kripa going to come? What will be the fruits of your endeavor?
Association of devotees.
Yes, the association of the pure devotee. The pure devotee gives bhakti. It could happen even in a moment's association. The bhakta gives bhakti. Bhakti comes from bhakti. She's self-manifesting, and how is the channel she comes? Through the pure devotee. That's why Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Eternal service to the Bhagavat. Not just the book Bhagavat, the person Bhagavat, the person emanating the teachings of the Bhagavat. This is the seva that we should do. Serve the Bhagavat, including the person Bhagavat. So anyway, we have to get into today's pastime. So I'll just finish this paragraph and then that's all we're going to do today. But just to finish this point, if there's any taste for material enjoyment, mystic power, or wanting to be free from suffering in your life, we have not reached bhakti. Definitely have not reached Bhava Bhakti. We're still in the semblance of bhakti, the shadow of bhakti. That's this phase that we're in right now. But hopefully one day, if we keep, like Meghna was saying, like the Damodar Leela, if we keep making endeavor, bhajana kriya, and we get through the anartha nivritti stage, and we get through so many anarthas that we actually become nishtha, we become fixed in the lineage of Vaishnavas, fixed in the teachings of our guru, or gurus. If we become fixed, then eventually, by the mercy of the devotees and by the mercy of the process, you'll actually start to like it. You're like, oh, it's not painful for me to sit and chant, anymore. It's not painful for me to sit through the artis and everything. I want to go do everything else other than this. The material attractions will lessen and lessen and lessen, and the taste will deepen and deepen and deepen. And when that taste reaches such a stage, when it really blooms, a shakti, a really deep attachment for Krishna will come. And you won't want anything separate from Krishna. You won't be attracted at all to all right, well, let's go out, let's see what the party gang's doing, or let's go see what this thing or that thing is doing. Because you'll actually have made advancement. What are you laughing at, Tanmay? Okay. There'll be no attraction. Or, I gotta go hit the gym. Or, something like that. You'll only be focused on your bhajan and how can you get closer to Krishna. But this is a high stage, very high stage. And only by Krishna's kripa, which will come through the devotee, and your endeavor, both simultaneously working, can we maybe reach this stage. So let's sidetrack now. What happens today? What are the themes here? We can talk about the themes and we can expand on the pastime more tomorrow. The themes here, there's a few themes. Indra has all heavenly opulence. He's a devotee, but because he actually he only has bhakti bhas. He doesn't have pure unalloyed bhakti. So because Indra hasn't reached the even the Bhav Bhakti stage, because Indra isn't really deeply concerned with pure attraction and association for the Lord, It's mixed, like I want to associate with the Lord because he's going to also give me all the material benefits that I want. This is actually Indra's limitation while in this his position. He's a great devotee. We don't mean Indra any disrespect. And without Indra, all these wonderful pastimes wouldn't be happening. But this is Indra's limitation. Due to his desires in the past to get the post of Indra, he must have had so many intense material desires. And then the Lord reciprocates. Even so much, I was born on Vaman Dwadashi. Vamana comes and becomes the brother of Indra, to serve Indra, to bring him... Yes, please, let's get the Govardhan Puja picture up. So Indra is so puffed up a bit. Many pastimes in the Bhagavatam you see where the limitations of Indra's position, where due to his material opulence, which is the thing we all want in the conditioned nature, Indra is like the most fortunate of the conditioned souls. It seems like he's the most fortunate. But when we actually realize Indra's position, he's actually a bit unfortunate. Because even when Krishna himself comes, his ultimate master, he can't recognize him due to his lust at times. And he makes very dear and grave mistakes. Which is what? Pride always leads to what? Pride comes before, it's a Western axiom. What do they say?
The fall.
Pride comes before the fall. So this is the theme here, is that Krishna wanted to crush Indra's pride out of his love for him, actually. Because Krishna doesn't want to see his devotees filled with pride. The devotee, it's mentioned in the neophyte stage, we learn a few things, a few shlokas, we learn a few things. And then devotee, it's mentioned in the Madhurya Kanamani, one of the anarthas is to think one's so learned. Ooh, look what I know. Look at this, look at that. It happens all the time. I watch it in my life. I learn like a new shloka, learn a new term, and I want to, hey, you come see what I've just learned. And then Krishna has to humble me and show me how I have no application of that at all. This is actually an aparad. But this is Krishna, out of his love for the devotee, he has to crush the devotee's pride. He must do it. If he doesn't crush the devotee's pride, and usually how he'll do it, he'll send a much more qualified devotee to come and make that devotee realize that my pride needs to be crushed. And it's perfect. It's Krishna's perfect arrangement. So for Indra, he sent a whole host of more qualified devotees. Who are they? The Vrajabasis. The Vrajabasis are the most qualified devotees. But because Indra doesn't know of their qualification, he takes worship from them. Yes, make sure you do your worship of me. This is actually the nature of someone puffed up. They will feel that people who are even more qualified, yes, you should admire me, you should realize of my greatness. And then we'll be the person, even though someone's more senior to us, we'll be giving them advice and all these things like this. This is actually the great fault. We won't realize the qualification of those more advanced than us. Maybe we'd be so audacious to take worship from them. But this is not recommended. Definitely not recommended. So Indra is taking worship from them. He doesn't know of their, and it's not his fault actually, because he is less qualified as a bhakta. He can't recognize how great they are. He can't even recognize his master, who's usually coming through the form of Narayan. He can't recognize when he's come as Krishna. So all the worship for Indra is going on. In Nanda Maharaj worships Indra, and everyone's worshipping Indra. They're getting ready for the Indra festival. The Govardhan Puja was once the celebration of worship of Indra in the land of Vraj. But Krishna, he's questioning, why are we doing this? Why are we doing it? And Krishna was a little boy at the time. He was 7 years old. And so like when a 7-year-old asks you something, you're not like, all right, I'm going to give a very deep, comprehensive answer to you. You're a 7-year-old boy. And that's how the residents of Vrindavan, they see Krishna. They have such a deep love for Krishna. His Aishwarya, his almighty God, that's covered over by a much more powerful force. Do you know what that force is?
Love.
Yes, but what's the mood? There's a level of mood. They're both actually on the platform of love, but there's a special mood that's distinct from Aishwarya. Love for God's opulences or greatness or majesty. Jai Krishna, you want to tell us? Madhuryam. It's the mood of sweetness, the mood of intimacy. The Vrajabasis have, all of Vraj is saturated with this Madhuryam, where it completely overpowers. Like for instance, Krishna is the all-powerful Krishna, but Mother Yashoda can say, "You little rascal, you're a bad boy," and come here and chase him down and take him and force him to be bound up. Only by her Madhuryam, only by her sweetness. It's Vatsalya Prem. It's not of the Madhurya Ras, but the Madhuryam that's overpowering the sweetness, that's overpowering the Aishwarya nature of Krishna. He's even bound up by this. So the Vrajavasis have Krishna conquered in so many ways like this. So anyhow, they see Krishna as junior. Oh, what do you know, Krishna? You don't need to know about this. Just go and do the tradition. But Krishna actually gives some nice tattva. No, one should know what one is doing before doing anything. One should know why one does it. Like even, for instance, I was doing deity worship for some time. I didn't even know what's the circles here, what's this, what's there. But there's actually deep meaning behind what you're doing. And when you learn it, it actually becomes a lot more profound, a lot more meaningful. Learning even the meaning of the Maha Mantra. I'm just Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, but let's see how fast I can go. Hare Krishna, but what's the meaning? What are you doing? That should be known. It should be known. So Krishna is saying, what is the meaning? Why are we doing this? And so Nanda Maharaj is explaining, in order for us, we're cowherds. Our dharma, our ashram dharma is, we're cowherds. In order for the cowherds to actually prosper, we need the rains. We need the blessings of Indra. And Krishna's, this is actually very good. He's right. Nanda Maharaj is right. But Krishna is saying yes, this is very good. But there's a higher principle here. Where does Indra get his power from? This is very nice. In our life, we should respect our parents. We should respect the demigods. We should respect the sages. There's so many worldly duties. But where are they getting all of their qualification from? If we don't respect the source, what's the use? If we don't understand. For instance, a lot of you guys want to go work. If your regional manager or something is your boss, but all of a sudden, Rishi just got hired at Tesla. So Rishi will have some boss there. We don't know his boss's name yet. Maybe Rishi knows his boss's name. You know your boss's name?
It's confidential.
Okay. What's that? Matthew. Yes, but that's right. Matthew is serving, and Rishi's so, worried about pleasing Matthew. But if Elon Musk comes in and makes demands of Rishi, and Rishi doesn't recognize that this is Elon Musk, who are you, sir? Matthew is my boss. I'm serving Matthew. He's a great fool. So this is actually in Bhagavad Gita mentioned in many, and this is so popular, especially in the Vedic tradition, demigod worship, but in the pagan traditions as well in the West. They want to put so much emphasis on this puja. I mean, we saw it with Diwali, right? We celebrated Diwali. But what did we celebrate? When Bhagavan returned on Diwali day. But there's also, before Diwali, there's this puja, you do that puja, and then you do this puja, and this one gives you money, this one assures your grains are going to be stocked. Whatever it is, I don't know all the traditions. Why? Because it's actually not necessary for me to know. And it's not necessary for us to know and waste our time and energy doing all these things. Because who is the source? So Krishna wanted to remind Indra. Indra knows this at some point, but there's something that happens. When you have material opulence, when you have the finest foods, when you have the, even here with prasadam, we must be careful, But when you have all the finest foods, when you have all the material comforts, when you have association of all the finest women and all these things like this, you become intoxicated by these things. Intoxicated by ignorance. This is Indra's position, unfortunately. It's his curse. To be Indra is a curse, actually. That he is always going to have all this material. And that's why all our acharyas, they spit at any type of sense gratification. So this is going to be really unfavorable for my bhakti. I must get away from this. That's, in the material world, that's why, it's said, at least for a man, the greatest enemy is the association of, there's license to go through the grahastha ashram, but it's the association with women, and even worse than women are men who are very much attracted to women, very much attracted to associating with women. This is like, oh God, because they ultimately, they are this is the deepest material engrossment. This is the deepest material engrossment that we have, actually. So we ultimately want to realize the fault of, for a woman, it's the same thing. It's the wanting to associate with the men or a man, or other women who want to associate with this way. But for the bhakta, we want association of the Lord and the Lord's devotees. And so like this. This is ultimately what we want. And yes, it could be men, women, no problem. But the qualification, they should be the Lord's devotee. Very deeply immersed and not attracted, like a Vaishnavi, a genuine Vaishnavi, she's not, her qualification isn't what her material body is. That's not her qualification. We shouldn't identify with her as her material body. We should see her spirit soul, actually.
Should we just do that with absolutely everyone?
What's that?
Should we do that?
Yes, but if they don't recognize that and they're totally on the bodily platform, it's just you should see like, to protect their soul, I don't want to get entangled with their stuff. So let me take a little distance. You try and you see, how can I help them? They need some prasadam. Let's give you some prasadam. Or they should hear the Maha Mantra. Something like this. But we don't want to take really deep association with them because it'll affect our consciousness. So anyway, Indra unfortunately has gotten completely infected with his position, and it's natural in his position. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu refused to see King Prataparudra. He's like, this king? I can't see a king. He's completely infected with worldly opulence and things like this. This will destroy my bhakti. So he refused to see him, and he forced King Prataparudra to come. Where are you guys going? What's that? Oh, that's right. Oh, yes. Very good. So that means we must tell. Time is running. So, naturally, Krishna says, well, why are we worshipping Indra? And Nanda Maharaj says, and he says, okay. But actually, he actually speaks some atheist philosophy, which we don't recommend we do. But Krishna actually, he goes on in the pastime to speak like the karma mimamsa atheist philosophy. No, it's not through Indra. It's through one's activities. Indra's only, Indra's giving the rain over here, and he gives rain to the ocean too. What's going on with the activities? The rain is coming no matter what. But due to one's activities, one gets the rewards in life. Due to one's karma. So work and reaction. We have this mentality. If you do good work at work, then they'll give you. The karma is real. Everyone knows if you do good work at work, they're going to give you the fruit of your work. So we all have faith in that system. Even the atheists have faith in that system. Well, Krishna is giving that system here. And so Nanda Maharaj is not totally buying it. But then Krishna says, well, look at Govardhan. Govardhan is giving all of these things. Govardhan is giving the grass. Govardhan is giving the grains. Govardhan is giving the grazing to the cows, and the cows are giving milk. It's all due to Govardhan. We live on Govardhan, we walk on Govardhan, everything is done with Govardhan. Even see, Govardhan creates the rains. Look how high Govardhan's peaks are. It's forming the clouds around it, and this causes the rain. So Krishna is like this. Even though Nanda he had a good sentiment, a right sentiment, Indra is providing the rains. But he says, no, stop the worship of Indra. Why? Because he's come to crush his pride. It's necessary for the devotee's pride to get crushed to make advancement. It's so necessary. A lot of you guys, I could tell, are uncomfortable that sometimes I have to chastise you. But it's necessary at some times. It's so necessary. And I had to be chastised, and I still have to be chastised. When my seniors come to me, and we meet many seniors, where this is not happening, this cannot happen without guidance from the seniors here. This isn't anything, any success here has not been due to the whims of my wife and I. Any success here has come due to seniors seeing this and fine-tuning it and saying like, oh my God, Keshava Gopal, what are you doing? Ramdas, Sita, what the heck are you guys doing? And then rearranging us so that we can actually do it properly or more properly. This is what any success in the Bhakta's life is, the rearrangement of our seniors. So, what? Oh, yeah. Who is picking them up actually? Wait a second, how are you guys getting back here?
Cab, most probably. There's no other option.
Okay, well maybe
You guys need a ride from somewhere?
No, necessarily.
maybe we can go. We'll finish. You guys go for 10, and then we'll finish and we'll pick you up. Don't waste your money. Anyway, so like this. So the pastime is this, that they stopped the worship of Indra. Krishna succeeded in convincing Nanda Maharaj, and why? Because they love him so much, and he's so charming, and he's so convincing. And even if he speaks the wrong philosophy, which he does, karma mamamsa, you still got to listen to Krishna. Even Yudhisthira could not, at one point in the Mahabharata, Krishna was telling him to lie. Say that Asvatthama is dead. Say that Asvatthama is dead. And Yudhisthira said, I cannot do it. I cannot do it. It's against Dharma. I cannot say. So they had Bhima go kill Ashvatthama the elephant. And so Krishna is saying, all right, say Ashvatthama is dead. And Yudhisthira said, I will say Ashvatthama is dead. But then he had to say the elephant, But Drona heard that. And then Drona actually wanted to give up his life. And good thing he did, or they would have lost, because Drona was too powerful when going in full force. But Krishna, he has a higher vision, a transcendental vision. He sees the limitations of Dharma. And he knows when you should transgress Dharma. I'm watching one of our students. They're having a rough time with their parents. And I'm watching how time and time again they transgress Dharma, where respecting the wish of their parents because they want Krishna. And this is very good. This is so good. But, it's very hard in the beginning. If you're very attached to Dharma, you're like, no, I have this comes first. My worldly duties come first. But actually, this is not what Krishna recommends. Tanmay had a very nice realization yesterday. I was speaking to Tanmay in the kitchen. And he told me he couldn't go to Harinam because unfortunately he did have some very important pressing work that he had to do for his situation. And I said, no, that's no problem, Tanmay. Do your work and then just be Krishna conscious all the rest of the time. And then he had a nice realization. He's like, no, Prabhu, I should actually be Krishna conscious first and then just do my work the rest of the time. Yeah, but maybe I taught you, but you said it. And actually you reminded me. I was like, yes, this is the process. Be Krishna conscious first, and any other little time is left, you do all your other activities. No problem. They have to be done. Like right now, the sewage is backing up in the house, and I better do some of my material finagling to make sure that this gets handled today. Actually, I have to go find Manny. I'll go wake him up. So that really has to get done. But ultimately, we should do our things to ultimately care for our Krishna consciousness. And we should always see with that vision, including our material work. So anyhow, their Krishna consciousness is to love and listen and worship Krishna with their love and affection for him. So they keep on, okay, we'll do Govardhan Puja then. So they used all the stuff they prepared for Indra, and they made a big, great festival for Govardhan. And how did Govardhan respond? Krishna himself took a form of Govardhan, a giant form. Even eyes, smile, everything, arms, and began accepting their offerings. So now the Vrajavasis are like trembling in ecstasy. Because now look, like we do worship, okay, very much here, very good, yes, look what I've gotten, Lord. But because we don't do like real bhakti, we haven't really conquered Krishna yet, and it's bhakti abhas, the Lord says, okay, we take it off the altar. Yes, I hope he accepted. Maybe he accepted. I think he accepted, no problem. And then we eat, yes, the remnants prasad. But imagine the Lord, you see this giant form, and with arms, he's reaching and grabbing your offerings and eating it. How much ecstasy we would be in to see such a sight. So the Vrajavasis saw this with Govardhan. And he was saying, more, more, more. And then actually the Vrajavasis were saying, we're just humble cowherd people. We don't have any more. And then they said, well, get me water. So then they give him, I think, some Yamuna Jal, water from the Yamuna. I could, no, water from Kusum Sarovar and Manasi Ganga? Yeah, Manasi Ganga and Kusum Sarovar. That water was given to Govardhan, and then he was very satisfied. And he said, enough. So this actually happened. And they were so pleased. The Vrajavasis are in ecstasy to experience this. So they're like, yes, Krishna was right. Look how powerful Govardhan. He's come, he's developed this giant form, and he's accepted everything. Yes, he'll continue pleasing us and giving us everything we need for our survival. We will always be devoted to him. But then Indra's, these foolish cowherd people, this talkative Krishna, who does this boy think he is? Yes, he has some power, and but who does he think? Does he not know who his superiors are? Does he not know who I am? This is the disease of material existence. I and mine. And it's not like some artificial thing where I'll just stop saying I and mine. No, it's feeling that you're not doing anything, that you're the insignificant instrument of your guru, of your seniors, of Krishna. So anyway, Indra has forgotten that. It's natural. Where there's wealth, where there's fine dining, where there's all kinds of the material things for sense gratification, one will forget these things, and Indra forgets. It's his curse to forget regularly. So anyway, he makes a very grave mistake. He says, I'll show them. Samvartaka clouds. These are the clouds for universal devastation. We're going to Vraj. And then they all go, Indra's on Airavati, sends the Samvartaka clouds, and it starts raining. Pillars. We see little drops of rain. It said like pillars of rain, water just coming down. We just saw that hurricane in, there was the one in Tampa, but then somehow or other, it even picked up more steam and it destroyed North Carolina. A lot of the people say that's not natural, it's never been seen before. And yeah, maybe they're right. Probably had a little boost from some technology. Anyway, I won't get into that. But for whatever reason, we saw the sheer power of water. Now imagine pillars, those are still raindrops coming down. Pillars upon pillars upon pillars of rain coming down. And then the Vrajavasis, then they all look to Krishna like, Krishna, you told us to stop worshiping Indra, and now look, it's happening. So Krishna, he's like seeing, everything's getting flooded, everything is getting ruined. It seems like it's going to be a disaster. But of course, Because they're the Vrajabasis and they're the greatest devotees. What do they do when there's disaster? Krishna! Even when they're like angry at him, you tricked us! Or you told us to do this and now look what's happening. But they're going to go down with Krishna. So they call for Krishna. And so it's explained that Krishna, just like a child picks up a mushroom, took Govardhan, this giant mountain, who just revealed this epic form. And he just picked up the mountain with his left hand. And he indicating, everyone come underneath, come underneath, come underneath. And so they're all going underneath. And he holds it on his left pinky, the weakest part of the body. But this is how powerful Krishna is. So powerful. And then on top of that, what is one of the main weapons of Dwarka Krishna, or even the Narayan form of Krishna? The Sudarshan disc. So above, they couldn't see this. The Vrajavasis couldn't see this. Just like they can't see Aishwarya. They cannot see Krishna's godly magnificence. Even though in this pastime, it is temporarily revealed to them. But it'll get covered over again. But the Sudarshan chakra was on top of Govardhan. And it was spinning. So no rain was even coming on Govardhan. They could not see. They felt, oh, Govardhan is protecting us. Krishna is showing Govardhan is protecting. But actually, Krishna all along was protecting with his Sudarshan disc. So for 7 days and 7 nights, it was like this, underneath. And actually, all of the residents of Vrindavan were in the most ecstasy. Why? Because what normally happens in Vrindavan is Krishna is a very busy boy. During the day, he's out with the gopas, and then he goes with the parents time to time, and then he makes time at the evenings, so he goes and associates with the gopis. Not yet in this pastime that Krishna manifests all of this, but Krishna is very busy. And what happens is when Krishna leaves where you are, you're just longing, no, when will he come back? So they're in so much anxiety. It's called vipralamba, just anxiety. One moment feels like many years to them. There's so much in anxiety. Did Krishna just disappear from us?
Yes.
We must get him back. Did you bump him?
No.
All right. Someone get Krishna back.
Krishna is unbumpable.
Unbumpable. So let's see. He has taken a playful stroll down the backside of Govardhan. But now we're coaxing him to come back with our love. So anyhow, when he disappears, look how much anxiety we all are in. Hey, where are you going? But just see. But this is what all of the Vrajabasis do. They're in so much anxiety. So then, but when he lifted this mountain, and he's standing there for 7 days straight, all eyes are on Krishna. He's nowhere else. This is where the gopis finalized their feelings for Krishna. I want no other husband. I want no one else other than him. Look how beautiful he is. And Krishna sees the gopis even looking at him. Especially he sees Radharani the way she's looking at him. And he turns towards her, and they can't look at each other, right? Because they have what's called, oh my God, what is the word? Sitting, parakiya bhav. They have this mood of, this is forbidden. We shouldn't be looking at each other. But if I just look at the side of my eyes, I might catch a quick glance. No one will notice. So like this, they had this parakiya bhav. And he just catches Radharani looking at him. And she catches him do the same. And this is what controls Krishna. He completely loses his composure. And then all of a sudden Govardhan starts trembling. And then all of a sudden all the cowherd men are saying, oh my God, it's falling! So they all take their sticks and they put their sticks up there. We'll help hold it up. But really it's just because Krishna's, he's ogling over Radharani. And just like, if we see a pretty girl, I remember one time when I was a much I was a much more, my wife is gone, so I'll tell this. I was a much more lusty person in my life. And I remember one time I was working, I was at a devotee kitchen, Krishna kitchen, and such a beautiful girl had walked in. And I remember, like, I couldn't even speak. I was just like, because you're just so captivated by the material beauty. And, it's really, now I have more, it's not, material beauty is not that impressive. There's the pastime where a woman's beauty, what is it? It's all made up of, like stool and blood and pus and things. If you peel back the skin of everybody, no one's very attractive, actually. But the skin is such a way that we're very attracted to this material thing. But if we saw someone's skin lying on the ground, we'd be horrified. Oh my God, get that out of here. So anyway, it's all an illusory attraction. But Krishna, when he looks at Radharani, it's on a different platform. She is the most beautiful, exceeding even Krishna's beauty. But the Vrajavasis, only Krishna can see just like this. So he sees and he trembles. And then all the cowherd men, they take their sticks. I think it was even, I think even Govardhan himself decided, no, Krishna, he's getting too enamored with the gopis. I think Govardhan himself even lifted and tried to hover himself above Krishna's finger. I think Rishi was showing the Amarendra Prabhu. Last time we spoke of this pastime, that's one of what Amarendra Prabhu is quoted, found somewhere in some commentary of our acharyas. I'm not so knowledgeable of these things, so I can't speak further on it. But this is the pastime. Krishna is just holding Govardhan for 7 days and giving the Vrajavasis the most ecstasy that they've had up until this point. Normally, Krishna, he comes and then he goes and he's disappearing and he's gone all day, and the gopis are like, when will he come back? When will he come back? The cowherd, all the mothers are feeling the same thing. When will that boy come and steal my butter again? And like this. And then when the cowherd boys, when they go out with Krishna all day, when they bring him back at night, they're like, oh, I can't wait till tomorrow. We get to hang out with Krishna again. But now, for 7 days straight, they're all just getting to see Krishna. And there's this exchange of glances. One of the things I forgot is that when Krishna was caught blushing with Radharani, Balaram realized what happened. Only Balaram realized what happened. And Balaram looked at Krishna and he let him know that he knew. And then Krishna looked back at Balaram and he started to blush. And then, so that was one element I forgot in the pastime. But then that's when all the men say, we have to help Krishna, because they think he's their little boy and we have to help him. So like this is how the Govardhan pastime goes. Tomorrow we'll talk about, because tomorrow is the actual day, we'll talk about some of the lessons that Indra learned. Yeah, you guys should go shortly. And we're going to end right here. But tomorrow we'll talk about some of the lessons that Indra learned. But the chief one is he learned of the Aishwarya nature. Now Indra has to deal with Aishwarya because Indra is not so qualified. Even us, we were talking about Raganuga Bhakti yesterday. Raganuga Bhakti starts from the stage of what's called a Shakti, deep attachment for Krishna. This is born, you're born with this only if you've done tremendous amount of work within bhakti in previous lives. So, in this life, Raganuga can be approached, but it starts on such a high platform, even above the Uttamadhikari platform. Uttamadhikari is the topmost tier of devotees, and Raganuga starts above Uttamadhikari at a Shakti. Uttamadhikari is, you attain Uttamadhikari at Ruchi. When you actually have a deep taste for performing bhakti, you're an Uttamadhikari, or the topmost tier of bhakti. But anyway, the Vrajavasis are all Raganuga bhaktas. But Indra, he has to start his bhakti process after he made a really big offense. He tried to kill all the Raganuga bhaktas, and Krishna himself. He did an offense worse than any demon. And here we are, we'll get so punished if we make any slip up with any bhakta. Even a neophyte bhakta. But all the topmost tier of bhaktas, he tried to kill them all. What an offense. So he realized he was in a big trouble. He realized who Krishna was at that point. He was given knowledge of his Aishwarya. And guess what he was feeling, Tanmay? Indra.
When
After he realized he made a big boo-boo.
can't explain what he would feel.
What do you think?
He would be very scared,
Fear.
right?
He was very afraid. Actually, in Vaidhi Bhakti, there's a healthy level of we should be afraid of making offenses to Krishna. We should be afraid of making offenses to Vaishnavas. We should be so afraid. So afraid. But, because only at that pure level when we're beyond the level of offenses, should it, just let him wait some time. Tell him to listen to the class. Someone text him. No, don't. So, we'll come to them soon. They'll get the key. They'll log online. So anyway, we should be. Indra is going to have to make amends with Krishna. And what does he do? He actually does one thing very smart. He realizes that Krishna is not going to be happy with me. And Krishna, when it was all said and done, he puts Govardhan down after 7 days. Indra, there's a kund. There's a place around Govardhan where Indra goes. And Indra, he's ready now to repent. But he realizes, I'm in big trouble. So he actually calls, he has someone with him in the heavenly planets named Surabhi. She's the Kamadhenu, the wish-fulfilling cow. You know,
on the fridge.
Yes.
Because it makes noise like that.
Yes, Surabhi, we have our wish-fulfilling cow with our refrigerator. She stores all of our bhoga and gives all the opulence. And she moos as well.
Yes.
That's why Jai Krishna named her that.
Yeah, and
Because she moos.
I told that the first day he was working in the kitchen, he was like, "You're messing with me." I was like, "Yeah." And it took him a little while, but he actually had like, no way he does
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
If you stand in the kitchen and listen to the fridge making noise, it
Yeah.
sounds like it's a cow.
Yeah, she moos. So Jai Krishna named her Surabhi. That was one of his sevas here. He was named to this. So anyway, he brought Surabhi. And this was very smart of him because Surabhi is very dear. Cows are very dear to Krishna, who's Gopal. He loves the cows. So, like this, but we'll learn the lessons of Surabhi and Indra, and we'll see what Indra does tomorrow to repent. But we should also, we should let Krishna crush our pride. We should willingly give it to him if we know it. And realize the error of our ways. We should not be so challenging to our seniors. We should not be so puffed up thinking ourselves so great. Actually, we're completely useless on our own. We're completely useless. So Indra is learning just how small he is after seeing all of his heavenly... I mean, he's a great killer of demons. He got thunderbolts and everything, and he tried to exhaust all of this for 7 days and nothing happened. So he's realizing, I am in really big trouble. So we'll see what he does tomorrow. We have to end here. I'm sorry we went long today, but this is a great festival day. So we should hear this katha. We should hear about these things on this day. Thank you guys for celebrating with us. It was very nice. Thank you guys who joined us online. I hope your pride gets utterly crushed today. And I hope actually we all realize to take upon devotion to the Supreme Lord. And if we do this, we can make real advancement. We can make real advancement. Even if we start, at a lower level, where we're accepting, like Bhagavad Gita, accepting the Lord's opulence, majestic. A lot of times we want to just jump to the highest thing, but we're not qualified. We should understand Krishna in all of his facets. And then over time, when we make advancement, we'll naturally be more prone to forget all about the opulent things. It'll get covered over by the sweetness. But it's not artificial. In the beginning, we must understand, and we should be afraid of transgressing Krishna's, Krishna's ways. We should be afraid of making aparads. Save aparads in the services. And what is the other aparads? Nam aparad, yes, very important. To the name. Aparads to the name. When chanting the name of the Lord, we should be very afraid to do this. And I know for me this is a huge obstacle, because we're chanting so much throughout the day. But we should be as attentive.
What is you thinking of something else, but we are chanting, and
Yes.
a lot of time we have to bring this up.
Yes, inattentive chanting, this is called. This is a huge obstacle. And then the final one is there's no coming back from this one. Even if you make Namaparads, there's a pathway back. By just doing sincere chanting, you can overcome Namaparad. Seva-parads can also be forgiven. We have prayers we chant every day when we're doing an offering to ask for forgiveness for the hundreds of seva-parads we've made, because we keep making them. It's impossible not to in the beginning neophyte stage that we're at. But the chief is Vaishnava-parad. If you do something against one of Krishna's devotees, you're in big trouble. And Indra's in very big trouble because he just tried to kill all of Krishna's dearest devotees. So now, but there is a way out, and we see Indra, how he moves forward, and it's ultimately by serving the Vaishnavas. Serving Krishna's servants, then Krishna will become pleased.
Allow me to serve Krishna's.
Yes, I will allow you, Baal, to go serve Krishna's servants by cooking nicely for him. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for
Govardhan Puja. And this was the last time for you, Sahil. Sorry, Rishi had to miss the rest. But we'll see you guys again soon. Hare Krishna.